800% Club dealers, welcome back. Excited to be here with you today to spend some time together. We are, if you haven't watched the previous training, you need to go back, make sure you catch up on that. And what we're doing this week, and actually for a couple weeks, as long as we can get all the points, is we are looking at the 6 main areas in your dealership that must be attended to immediately. Now, I understand you have 100 different things going on, 100 different things, but I'm telling you, these 6 that we are talking about are so crucial. You have to get these things in place. Each one takes a little bit of time to do so, but we are going on the theory of that Gary Keller put together in his book, The One Thing. What is the one thing I can do such that by doing it, everything else will be easier or unnecessary? Now, last week we talked about search engine optimization and how important it is to organically make sure we have all the different components in place in order to get as much reach as possible, because the processes don't matter. Inventory doesn't matter. Nothing matters if we don't get eyeballs. If we don't have eyeballs, we don't have leads coming in, nothing else matters. So it all starts with getting visible, right? And part of getting visible is our ad strategy, our spend. But there are ways that without spending any additional money, you can make sure that you are as visible as humanly possible utilizing the internet. Now, I gave you 10 things, 10 areas. The first one was you had to improve your website experience, right? When somebody lands on your website, the experience has to be top notch. And we broke down what that looks like and how that's decided by Google, right? Then we, of course, went to making sure everything was optimized in your SEO, so it would show up in search, right? Making sure all of that was there. Then from there, we went into backlinks and how important it is that all of your backlinks are there, connecting to your charitable, companies that you spend money with and that you donate money to, making sure they have a link to your website, you have a link to theirs. Then we talked about your page speed, how important it is that your website is super fast, and this is super, super crucial. We talked about making sure there was no broken links. All of your links go where they're supposed to go. They're doing the work that they're supposed to be doing. We also talked about optimizing your images, making sure they're compressed, descriptive, each of those things, so that the images are exactly what the internet, Google itself, easily identifiable by Google itself. That's what I'm trying to say. Then we also talked about the H1 and H2 header tags, how important those were, making sure to claim your Google business for local search and keeping that updated. Super important. We also talked about optimizing for voice, so that 60% of people are using voice for search now. So we wanted to make sure that we optimize for that by using full sentences, ending with periods, so on and so forth. And then we also talked about aiming for position 0, getting above that number 1 position, in different ways that you can do that by creating content on your page and ultimately in other places, so that you come up in that 0 spot. Now, there's 6 things total that you have to do that are urgent, absolutely urgent, that you get in place in your dealership. These 6 areas must be attended to immediately. And so I'm going to give you the second one today. Now, the second one, you're going to already know, it's a little bit of common sense, but the second one is acquisition. Acquisition of used vehicles is a crucial element of your success right now. And so I'm going to give you 7 or 8. Yeah, I think it's 7 or 8 different ways that you can acquire vehicles in this season. And you can just check. You can say, yeah, we're doing number 1, 2, 4, 6, right? But we need to work on 3, 5, and 7. And then you can apply those in your dealership and start to acquire more cars. And that is the point of this training. Getting you as many vehicles as humanly possible and making sure the process is ironed out so that your acquisition can then turn and actually get that vehicle out on the lot. So number one is you must turn your service lane into an auction lane. This isn't a choice. This is a must. Now, we've talked about this before in this training, and maybe you missed it, and maybe you haven't quite implemented it, and maybe you didn't even agree with it. And I'm just here to tell you, I talk to dealers all over the country. This is what's working. Carvana bought 350,000 cars from consumers. How many of those cars do you think they drove, test drove, argued with the customer on, so on and so forth? How many? Now, a lot of you are like, well, they have the volume. They can do that. Well, I'm just telling you, you ain't going to get the volume until you do it. You got to start taking some risks and some chances. They give people a number on the car. Immediately, here's the number. Based on the information, here's the number. Not here's a rough estimate or this number, here's an idea of what a number possibly could be, but we'll give you more when you get here in the dealership. No, none of that. They give them a number. You put in the VIN, you put in the miles, you put in the condition, they give them a number. Some of this has to be done in faith. Well, Glenn, I've gotten burned many a times. Have you? Have you? How many times have you actually gotten burned versus all the times that you haven't gotten burned? What is the percentage of the times that you have not gotten burned on trade-ins? How many vehicles have you taken in on trade that are exactly what you thought they were going to be? Dude, we only remember the bad ones. That's it. It's like the opposite of golf. In golf, you can only remember your good shots. You don't remember any of the bad shots. When it comes to acquiring vehicles, you remember the 5 times you got burned over the last 5 years. You can give me the car, you can give me the color, you can give me the customer name, but you can't tell me anything about the other 1,000 times that you took a trade and didn't have a problem. You see, Carvana's not scared like us dealers. And the only reason we're scared is because that was put into our minds over time, this idea that we had to do things a certain way, otherwise we were going to get burned. We were told that everyone out there is a lie and a cheat and buyers are liars. They tell us that all the time. When the reality is, you typically feel like you reflect out, right? Is that the right word? Right. What you project is what you reflect. And so we were lying and cheating customers back in the days, 50s, 60s, 70s, 80s, taking advantage of customers. So, of course, in our minds, everybody thinks like us and they try to get over on us. That's not how it is, man. It's not how it is. In your service lane, every vehicle that goes through, every single one should have a "we will buy your car for this amount" on the ticket that they receive. It's not a, hey, would you like to sell your car? It's not a, hey, would you like to get an idea of the value of your trade? It's not a, hey, would you like to take a salesperson? Do you want to go on a test drive while you're waiting? It's none of that. It's just very, 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 very simple. Plug the car in, plug the mileage in, pick a number, average, below average, above average, best condition, worst condition, whatever you decide. Just make it the same and consistent across the board. Obviously, you don't want to piss people off, so you should probably be careful. Just decide what tool you're going to use. KBB tool, nice and easy. Boom, 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 boom. Carvana tool. Go to the Carvana tool. Go to the Carvana tool and put in the license plate of the car and the mileage of the car and see what Carvana says the car's worth. I don't care what tool you use. And when I say you, I mean your service writer can do it. I'm not asking them to sell them on this idea of "we will buy your car." I'm just saying every single customer that comes to your service department should get a "this is what we would buy your car for." Everyone. Now, if you want to put some type of 6-month restriction on it to make yourself feel better, because I know that you have the concern that they just bought the car and then they came back 90 days later and you tell them it's worth less than what they bought it for, and Now they're going to be all pissed off, and it's going to cause this heat case and this fire, so on and so forth, because that's what we do. We focus on the one or two possibilities that could be so bad versus focusing on the upside of every single customer getting a price for their vehicle. Holy smokes, you'd buy my car for that much right now? Okay, great. How do I get home? That's going to happen way more times than you're going to piss somebody off. Every car that goes through the lane, every single ticket, we will buy your car for this amount. Whatever that blank amount is, stick it in there, do it every single time. That's number one. Your service lane must become an auction lane. Number two, you have to buy every single trade. You have to buy every single trade, every single one of them. By the time you factor in you having to pay an extra couple $1,000s for a trade-in, by the time you factor in your recon time, your transportation time, your auction fees, when you factor all that in, and then you factor how quickly you sold that car you just took in on trade, and after you took it in on trade and after you sold it, you made so much, you sold the warranty, you sold gap insurance, they traded in another car. You cannot afford to put the extra, you cannot afford to not put the extra money in on these trades. You can't miss a trade. Send this to your desk guy right here. Hey, Mr. Desk Guy, you cannot miss a trade. If a customer has a trade in and they have a good credit, they have the ability to buy, you must make that deal work. Period. Simple, plain as that. You work the heck out of it. You try to be as profitable as you can. You do not let them walk. Ever. You get the trade. It's that simple. I don't think I have to go any further on that. I think you guys understand it. Every single trade-in, every single time, we've got to secure that vehicle. So number one, turn your service lane into an auction lane. Number two is acquire every single trade. Number three, you need to pay your team to acquire vehicles. You need to pay the salespeople, pay the service people, pay the parts people, pay the accounting people, pay anybody that can acquire trades for you. Can't be something already in the CRM. You know how to avoid all those things, all the loopholes, so on and so forth. They go out, they seek a customer down, they acquire not a trade. That's the wrong word. They acquire a vehicle. It's a buy. It's a purchase. It's not a trade. They go out, they acquire a vehicle for you, pay them. We have a dealer in 800% who's had tons of success with this. He's not only paying them a $300 flat, I believe it is, but then he's also giving them a counter towards their overall volume, which right now is great, right? We're seeing higher profits, lower volume. So if they can get a counter on their volume to start to help them hit certain bonus levels, psychologically, it just totally makes sense. You mean I don't have to sell one? I can actually buy one? Okay, that's easier. Buying a car from a customer is easier than selling a car to a customer. I can buy a car from a customer, get paid on it, and get a counter towards my bonus. That's what I'm talking about. But you got to pay them, dude. You can't just say, all right, guys, we need some inventory. Do me a favor if you got any friends or family members. No, pay them. Make it a job. Say, hey, you can earn as much as you want. Get me as many cars as you want. I want every single one of them. Call the people. Go through the phone book. I almost said phone book. Go to Auto Trader. Go to all the places. And get me some stinking cars. They're not going to do it unless you incentivize them. There's got to be some type of incentive. It has to feel like a game that they get to play to really go and hunt down these things. So, not a suggestion, requirement. If you want to win in this acquisition game, pay your people to help you acquire vehicles. That's number 3. Number 4 is you must start to market to acquisition. Market to acquisition. Okay, you've seen the little signs by the side of the freeway that says we buy homes, right? We buy homes, we buy homes, we buy homes, we buy homes. You see that all the time. When you call that, it's whoever it is, right? Real estate agent. They see if you need to sell your home. They see if you're buying another home. That's kind of how it works, right? But you see it everywhere. Their marketing is we buy homes. It doesn't say we sell homes. It says we buy homes. That's the marketing. And so we've got to get your marketing aligned with that. We buy used cars. Get your cash offer today. Want to sell your car? We buy them. So for the last 80 years, we've been promoting lightly that will buy your car and extremely heavily that will sell you a car. It's time for that to shift. It's time for you to say, hey, we pay cash for your car. That's it. Not, hey, we'll give you more if you trade it. Not any of the games. We pay cash for your car. Now, you're going to find it's, when you get the marketing done right, that marketing piece, you're going to find you're going to be able to buy cars for way cheaper than you think. You're going to start selling more cars for way more money than you thought. Ultimately, it's going to be incredibly profitable for you. But you have to put it in place. It has to be a part of every single piece of advertising. If you're advertising on TV, advertising on radio, advertising on Facebook ads, you need to market to acquisition. Kind of like these guys do.
We're Carvana, the company who invented car vending machines and buying a car 100% online. Now we've created a brand new way for you to sell your car. Whether it's a year old or a few years old, we want to buy your car. So go to Carvana and enter your license plate, answer a few questions, and our techno wizardry calculates your car's value and gives you a real offer in seconds. When you're ready, we'll come to you, pay you on the spot, and pick up your car. That's it. So ditch the old way of selling your car and say hello to the new way at Carvana.
I know that was kind of fast. Maybe some of you missed it. It was right there in the commercial. But it just happened so fast. Put in your license plate, check a couple boxes, and we'll give you a real offer within seconds. Then they go even further and say, and we'll come to your house, we'll pick the car up. No problem. Just let us know. Easy peasy. Now, well, we'll come pick the car up, and we're going to charge you a little extra for shipping and transportation. You got to keep in mind, we got to put gas in the car, and we got to pay a driver to go get it. Da, 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 da. Old school. Throw it out the window. No longer valid. Nobody cares. And we're talking about acquiring an asset, not a liability. Something you're going to be able to turn around and make huge dividends on. Your marketing has to start to speak to that. Like full on, full-fledged. Your marketing has to speak to that. Now, along the lines of marketing, there's something I kind of want to interject, and then I'm going to give you a couple other ways to acquire cars. But there's a couple of other things I want to interject real quick around marketing. Now, we've talked about telling your story, and I just got to tell you, man, dealers have a really tough time with this. For the longest time, we've told the same story. So much money down, so much is your payment, so on and so forth. All of our reps that we work with, all of our vendors, they can basically make ads for us because they know we're going to pick 10 cars. We're going to post our favorite color one up here in the top right-hand corner or wherever it is. We're going to highlight this one with our spotlight, so on and so forth. Here's what we want the messaging to look like. Only $99 a month, only till the end of the month. It's a holiday. Get 4th of July, Independence Day, Memorial Day, whatever it is. We've been telling the same story forever and ever and ever and ever and ever and ever and ever. And that story just is no longer relevant. It sucks. So you've got to tell a better story. Now, you might not believe me that stories are more important than payments. And so in case you don't believe me, I brought 4 examples. 4 examples of some of the largest companies in the world that, if you notice, never, ever, 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 ever claim to be or talk about price. None of them. All they do is tell stories about their product. Check it out.
This is tomorrow. Tomorrow, very early, someone will go on her first ever run. Right after, Shelly Ann will run the 100 in under 10 seconds. By lunchtime, a shoe will grow from a seed. The WNBA will surpass the NBA in popularity. This tennis legend will launch her own video game. Also, tomorrow, we will all finally respect athletes' mental health. A woman will run a marathon on Mars. Tomorrow, we will celebrate new champions. And one sport is declared a human right, tomorrow we'll go really crazy. Marie Antoinette will score 7 in 7 minutes. Guy will land a 1620. LeBron will score 120, and I don't know what this is, but it looks amazing. Of course, the internet will break. Well done, Tomorrow. Can't wait to see what's next.
Only $99 down, $199 a month. Come on down. See the difference? The first company was Nike. You'll never see Nike talk about pricing ever in any of their advertising. The second one was Louis Vuitton, and I don't know if you know, but Louis Vuitton is one of the most profitable companies in the world. And the owner of Louis Vuitton is one of the richest people on the planet. Now, you might not necessarily like that style of marketing, and that's okay, because his story is different than your story, and his audience is different than your audience. But they didn't say a single word in that commercial. And that commercial has millions and millions and millions of views. Millions. Free advertising. But they're not screaming at anybody, not in buy my product now. No, they're telling a story, dude. So there's Nike, there's Louis Vuitton. I've got a couple more for you. Check this out.
It's just flawless, isn't it?
I think so. Yeah.
I mean, I literally couldn't imagine a more beautiful vessel for Alexa to be inside. Alexa, how many tablespoons are in a cup?
There are 16 tablespoons in a cup.
Babe, food just got here. Why you cooking? Who's that?
Alexa, turn on the sprinklers.
Honey, I already ran the sprinklers. Things are getting way too wet around here.
Alexa, dim the lights.
Alexa, lights up! Alexa, lights up!
Add bath oils to my shopping list.
Alexa, no, don't do that.
Read my audiobook.
I was in his hands. I was being changed.
Yeah.
Realized that I was all also kissing him.
Honey, other people have to use the bathroom around here too.
Get off my side. No. Walk
Guys, it
around.
doesn't matter what side you're on.
I'm not touching. You're so annoying. Get off me. Hey, girls, please, can you get off
Here.
me?
Just watch something or play a game.
I'm hungry.
The sign is up there.
On or off?
Babe,
I like
you got the iPad?
Yeah, I like on.
Daddy downloaded some movies for you.
We're here.
Dad, are you here?
Well.
Hi.
Yeah, hi, Isabella. Hi. Ava. Guy,
Clyde, play
Settle
with
down.
me, Clyde. Clyde.
settle down.
No, Dad, I will do
Oh,
that.
he likes me.
Girls,
Clyde.
in the lounge. Come on. You girls want me to put a movie on for you?
No, we got it. Mommy.
Yes.
Is Grandpa still sad?
Yes, honey. Keep busy and don't annoy Grandpa.
Say. Leave it. Here, let's take some photos.
Make sure you clean that up.
Here, take a picture. Who's that? That's Grandma and Grandpa. I miss her.
Oh, Dad, I ironed your shirt for you.
Thank you.
Would you like me to help you pack the stuff away?
No.
Dad. Girls, come on. Let's go downstairs and watch something. Grandpa needs some quiet. We'll just be in the kitchen.
Everybody else at the golf course feels the same. They're just so.
Take a picture. Thanks. A-U-G-H-T.
Girls, you really need to go to sleep.
You just woke us up.
If you wake us up before 6 o'clock, I'm opening all the presents.
Isabel, it's too early.
It's for all of you.
Haha, girls.
You just happened.
What is this?
Nana fell in love.
Oh, look at your hair. Okay, this is how you do it.
When did you do this?
You two beauties. Clyde.
Oh, no, that's
Mom fell in love with Dad.
We are pretty perfect.
yeah.
See, number one, the best.
Oh, look. She's right there.
Absolutely brilliant, both of you. Thank you.
When you look at the biggest and best brands, which that commercial gets me every time. When you look at the biggest and best brands in the world, they don't talk about pricing. How much does a Tesla cost? Anybody know? My guess is if we were live, you'd probably give me multiple different answers. And maybe you'd be right, maybe you'd be wrong, but ultimately it's not really a conversation. Because nobody really knows until they go in and try to buy one. They're not going to see any ad talking about it, that's for sure. It's never going to happen. And so as you're marketing, as you're telling this story that you acquire cars, I want you to think about how you can tell that story in a way that people feel something. And same thing with your marketing and storytelling on the other side. You see, people don't make decisions based on you being the cheapest. They simply don't. If that were the case, iPhones would have to be free. Or $49 or $99, but they're not. They're over $1,000. Louis Vuitton purses that can sell for $20,000 for a freaking handbag. They don't have to be the cheapest. They tell a better story. We've been trained to be the cheapest. And to be honest with you, we've trained our customers to ask us to be the cheapest. We have buttons on our website that say click here for e-price. We tell them you can get a better deal if you come in the store. We literally train our customers to ask for a cheaper price, to ask for a discount. We've trained them for decades and decades and decades and decades and decades. Now, if you really look at it, we've essentially gone to a one-price model. Every dealership in the country is now a one-price model, right? Customer says, I want a discount. Oh, well, we ain't got no vehicles out there, so I'm sorry about your luck. Actually, you're going to pay over sticker is what many of our dealers are doing, right? So this whole, can we do a one-price model? It'll never work. Yeah, like we're doing it right now. We really are. We're doing it right now. And it's working just fine. Not only is it working just fine, we're more profitable than we've ever been. And so let's stop thinking we have to be the cheapest. We don't. Let's stop thinking that the price is ultimately going to determine the decision, because it's not. What's going to determine the decision is the story that you tell about your organization and the way you make me feel about it. Apple gets it. Nike gets it. Louis Vuitton gets it. Amazon gets it. Car dealers, not yet. But you can be some of the first. You get that story right and watch your acquisition and sales go through the roof. Through the roof. Now that covers the fifth point, just to make sure I cover everything. The first one was service lane into an auction lane. Second one was take your trade every time. Third one is pay the team to acquire. Fourth one is make sure you're marketing to acquisition. To acquisition. And then the fifth one is run ads to acquire. Okay, run ads on Facebook to acquire deals. And here's what I suggest around running Facebook ads. Here's what I suggest. Use testimonials of people that you've already acquired vehicles from. Now, we know we've thought about doing this on the sales side, right? Somebody buys a vehicle from us, we ask them for a testimonial, we post the testimonial, we understand how that works, right? We understand that people trust other people. And we understand that it's better to hear it from someone else than it is to hear it from us, that this is a great place to buy a car. So we use testimonials. Well, I'm suggesting you use testimonials on the other side as well. Hey, yeah, I went online and I plugged in just a little bit of information, and they immediately gave me a number on my car, and they were kind enough to come pick it up, and they brought me a check, and I'm ever so happy with John Allen, with Allen Chevrolet. They're amazing. Run that as an ad. Compilation of 5 or 6 of them. Yeah, I actually just went in for an oil change real quick, and when I got the oil change, all of a sudden they came over and they said they'd buy my car, and it was thousands of dollars more than what I owed on it. It was unbelievable, and so, my only concern then was I had to figure out how to get a ride home. But my gosh, I sure love Roper Kia. Run that in a Facebook ad. You see what I'm saying? Easily produced content. You don't have to do a whole bunch of whatnot. Run those out in Facebook ads, and let's pay to acquire vehicles. Watch your conversions on that type of stuff, right? Maybe you're running whatever you're running a day. You take a look at it, but if you're acquiring vehicles off of it, dude, if you can get $1 in, put $1 in and get $1.25 out, makes sense, right? Stand there all day putting $1 in. We would all do that. If there was an ATM that you could put $1 in, and actually even better, if there was an ATM you could put $1 in and get $2 out, pay somebody 50 cents to stand there at that ATM all day, putting $1 in, getting $2 out, you still come out 50 cents ahead every single time. So utilize those Facebook ads not just to sell vehicles, but to acquire vehicles. And we can gain more that way. Now, a couple other strategies that some of the dealers have shared with me, changing up your colors in your GM system as far as acquiring more new vehicles. I'm starting to search for different models, different things than what you normally would get. You can actually acquire some new vehicles that way. And we've also talked in the 800% Club about just being really proactive on your curbside buys, right? Just super, super, super proactive in that area, looking for opportunities to just buy them straight off the curb. If you see, the for sale sign up in the window, pull over, stop, give that person a call. Those curbside buys, super, super, super important, right? But I'm going to end with this. First and most important is to make sure you are showing up everywhere on social media as well as on the internet, Google, SEO, showing up everywhere and getting as many eyeballs on you as possible. Now, the next 6 may vary per dealership, but the acquisition of vehicles is an incredibly crucial component, and the story you tell right now, probably more crucial. You tell a better story, you're going to get more eyeballs, right? It's probably more crucial. But here's what I will say. If you get the leads and the traffic, and you have the ability to buy vehicles, but if you can't get them through your service department and onto the lot and photoed, all the things, fast enough, you're going to run into another trick bag there. So you might have to go order of operations a little bit different. And we're going to talk about that service process and how important that process is to your success moving forward, getting that vehicle to arrival to lot ready and super, super fast. We'll talk about that in a different training, okay? So start thinking about that now. Where can you remove friction in your service departments? Do you have a tool that will help you move these things forward and fast? Do you need to be running Facebook ads for hiring? Do you need to pay some more people to get in there and turn these wrenches, right? And pay them more than what you think you should. Because it's crucial, right, that we get these things on the lot. So we're going to talk about that. That's one of the 6, is that service department process once they acquire them. But I'm not going to keep you super long today. I don't want to run over. So we're going to end it there. So I've given you the first 2, right? Search and acquisition. Now there's 4 more. We'll talk about those in the upcoming. Until then, let's get these things in place. If you need help, you know how to reach out to me. Have a great week.